Welcome, welcome. It feels like it's been a long time since we had our last our last show, but it's only been I think it's only been a week, right? But the crypto space just runs so freaking fast, and so many things happened within that 1 week, right? We had some interesting Twitter debates that were instigated by some rather famous people, and yeah, like the market was pretty interesting. How it all went up and down, like in the usual roller coaster fashion. But yeah, like I missed the show. I missed talking with you guys. Today we are going to do an AMA. I think basically what we realized is there's two things at force here, right? First of all, I think when it comes to the format of the show, we should think about doing it a little bit differently. I think the AMAs are fine. We should probably do them like every 2 weeks or so, because doing it weekly is kind of repetitive. And it was really important to do this show for the launch of Chrysalis, right? For the launch of the network upgrade, so that all of you would have all the information that you needed. Because at the end of the day, it was the biggest upgrade ever, and it included everybody's token. And so there was a lot of questions that the community had. But now that we're going into this next phase, which is all about extending the functionality of the network, offering new use cases, and marching towards full decentralization, I think we can reduce the number of AMAs that we do. I think maybe we do once or twice a month. And it will definitely not, like this tonight or today will definitely not be the last one, by the way. Like this is just for this month in May. I think the next one will be in early June again. And I think with the IOTA Talks, we can do them on a case-by-case basis, because what we also realized from what you guys were saying is we should really think about changing the format a little bit differently. And this is also the feedback that I got on Twitter when I asked this, I think a week ago. Yeah, exactly. 8 days ago. What you guys would want to see more. And the second most favorite option was to get more external guests on board. And I think that's definitely something that we can do, right? From exchanges like Bitpanda, from partners like Pantos to other crypto projects. I think that's very exciting to get them on the show. It's just very time consuming to organize all of that. And that's why we need somebody on the team that will basically manage the YouTube strategy in terms of content creation and stuff. So we're right now discussing that internally, how that will look like. And because obviously I can't do that stuff. But the most favorite option was more project showcases. And that's actually an interesting one. I actually did not expect that. What I assume that all of you would really want to see is to see more projects like Go Shimmer being presented, or to have like the NFT marketplace be shown live, right? Really showcase how IOTA is being utilized in the real world. And I think that is really where we should move forward, right? Do these IOTA talks more thematically, right? Say, hey, like this IOTA talk today is about NFTs in the IOTA ecosystem. What is our vision for it? What is possible today, and what does the roadmap sort of look like? So I think that content will be a lot more valuable, not just for those of you who watch it live, but also for those that watch it afterwards. So I think that's good. So we're going to move forward with that. Just to repeat it, right? Today will be the last AMA in May. And then afterwards, we're going to continue in June. So we will not stop, because I think this format is really valuable for everybody. And right now, obviously, I kind of had to also start focusing, because there's just so much work being done. And Chrysalis was just sort of the start, right? Because right now we're preparing several releases, and focus, right? I think that's the most important thing right now, because the market is very exciting, and it honestly gives me a lot of confidence to see how the market reacted over the last few days. Because before that, everybody was sort of like walking on eggshells, because it kind of felt like it could implode at any minute, simply because there was like, I don't know, like it just kind of felt like people were being fearful in the market. And what turned out to be true is obviously some people did sell over the last few days, did like fear sell in that regard, but it didn't really shake off the market like some people expected, right? Some people were talking about 50% it going down. But we're in a really strong position. I think that also gives us newfound confidence in where this market is heading. And we are ultimately focused on delivery, right? Making sure that our roadmap gets executed and making sure that IOTA succeeds as one of the few very tangible projects in this space. So I'm very excited to move forward with the building and move forward with getting all of you a lot more involved into our development, right? We have the community treasury, which is coming up in June as well, and where the community is holding some really exciting debates on what it should look like, how it should function, and how it can benefit the broader ecosystem. And we have some very, very cool projects that are building on top of Chrysalis, and some projects who are already looking at the upcoming Nectar release. So I think that's really, really interesting to see how it all is moving from IOTA, right, the inception of IOTA, towards really a huge ecosystem where all of you are deeply embedded into the project and into our progress, right? So I think that's what we can do, and that's what we can showcase on the IOTA Talks. So let me open up the AMA, and let me show here. Oh, that's too small. That is better. By the way, random question. Somebody gifted me like Reddit gold recently. Like, what can I do with it? Like, what are these Reddit coins? Oh, it's just to buy stuff. This feels like such a micropayment thing that you see in video games. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I guess that's a revenue stream. So let's jump into it. There was a lot of questions actually, and some of them were repetitive in the sense that they've been answered before, but I'll just go through them one by one. Hello everyone. I am IOTA supporter and investor, but I also see some negative aspects related mainly to the IOTA Foundation. Ooh, I wonder what that is. I will be honest and objective, and some criticism will be here as well. Hope you will be able to answer my questions and dispel my doubts. That's what the show is for. IOTA community will be able to vote to either burn unclaimed tokens, either give it to the treasury managed by the IOTA Foundation. That's not true, by the way. Like the treasury, and we've consistently communicated that the treasury is not managed by us. There's no single party that controls it, right? This is like completely decentralized, it's like a DAO, right? But we do not know how will you manage it. You probably neither. I would vote 100% for option, 100% treasury, but 50% of them for marketing purposes. We need marketing. Now you have a perfect opportunity to gain some funds for it. Most of the community wants marketing. We need it. Companies need to hear about IOTA. I think 60 million is enough for marketing, to be honest. I think for 60 million, you can be like a title sponsor in Formula One. so first of all, just to repeat this again, we do not control the treasury. The whole point of this upcoming governance vote, and let me open up the blog. The whole point of it is so that the IOTA community is fully empowered to make these decisions itself, right? This is about empowering all of you to have a dedicated treasury and decide what should happen with that treasury. Now, that's great in theory, right? But there's some important details that obviously need to be figured out. And the most important detail is really around the governance of the community treasury. And this is, by the way, this is what we mean here, right? This is our objective when it comes to the community treasury. And the syndicate protocol, I don't know them. I just saw this thread and thought it was interesting. But this is how we want to evolve with IOTA. It's not about the IOTA Foundation, right? IOTA Foundation has always just been there to kickstart the ecosystem. And sure, we are the main experts of the protocol right now, and we are the main developers of it. But the objective, obviously, is for this to be a fully decentralized ecosystem where there's no dependency on a single entity, and where all of you are really able to participate in the network and in the development of the protocol, but also in the development of tools, libraries, but also applications. And the only way to really empower all of you is to have a dedicated treasury. And this dedicated treasury should not be controlled by us, should not be controlled by any individual. It should be controlled through a decentralized governance mechanism. Because through that, we empower all of you, right? And we still have to figure out the details of the community treasury, how it will work, and how the governance will look like. I was yesterday in the German community chat where they were debating this as well, how it should function. But there's some interesting discussions. So if you guys are interested in discussing the community governance, there's a repository here. And there's also a Discord channel, I think it's called Governance Discussion, where you can participate in this governance discussion. But yeah, the way that it's going to work with the community treasury is that the community is discussing this right now internally, and maybe in an upcoming like IOTA talk, we can debate pro contra, and then ultimately it will be up to all of you to vote how it should look like. And so I think that's very exciting. And yeah, when it comes to marketing, that's definitely something that can happen then as well with this treasury. That's not something that can be limited by anybody, and it's up to the community to define the budget and to vote on it. As long as there's consensus within the community, it can happen. And so yeah. Other than that, when it comes to marketing, we at the foundation are definitely also doing more work on that, I would say. But let's see. What is going on with Jaguar? If I remember well, we should see some updates already. A few weeks ago, someone told the update will be within a few weeks. There was just short hype about Jaguar partnership, but it looks like nothing is going on. 0 updates so far. First of all, nobody said there's a few updates within a few weeks. I'm not sure where that comes from. We are actively working with them. Just so you know, right, the way that it works with corporates is things take time with them. And we're working with a few dozen large companies. And Jaguar is one of those that we work most closely with, together with Dell, together with ST, and some others. And they're still very committed to IOTA, and they're very excited about the Chrysalis upgrade. So we do not have any influence over them announcing stuff, over them pushing things out, right? This is up to them. We're just there to support them. We're there to convince them to utilize IOTA. And all I can say is that they're still very committed to IOTA and that they're still working on the product. And already back then, it was announced as a multi-year project. It's not that you announce a car wallet and that next year they're all going to roll out. Things take time with the protocol, with IOTA maturing, which we are right now. And also things take time with everything else. It's not just about the technology. It's also about legal, accounting, regulatory frameworks, and all of that. So just be patient when it comes to those large partnerships with companies. But Jaguar, we're still in active dialogue with them. Is Bosch still a partner of IOTA? It disappeared from the partner section. If so, what is the progress in this partnership? Again, this is something we've discussed quite repeatedly on the show. We've been working together with them for a long time. And there's still work with them on the Bosch XDK, I think their hardware, and some other Bosch subsidiaries, but they also had shifted their focus more towards Hyperledger from what I remember, and also more permissioned. But we're still in discussions with them. So there's nothing, no bad blood in that regard. And ultimately, it's about resource allocation and those big companies defining budgets and priorities. And I'm very certain that now with the Chrysalis upgrade behind us, and now also with smart contracts, that many of these companies will also to be able to prioritize IOTA again within their pipeline. When will we see new exchanges, and which do you want to be listed on? Which every exchange, right? That's always the case. When will we see new exchanges? Again, I don't know. What we've learned from the Chrysalis upgrade is that the development cycles at some of these exchanges is pretty terrible, and they're fully packed. And so it just takes time. You have to be patient when it comes to these exchanges. And even though they might say they're listing soon, things just take time, right? So we've been working on this behind the scenes for over a year. And now with the upgrade behind us, we are continuing to push forward here. So we'll see what happens over the next few weeks. There was info about IOTA Curve partnership, and unfortunately, PayPal bought Curve. That's a good way to put it, unfortunately. Are there any talks with PayPal to partner with IOTA? If so, what is the progress and current situation? The situation with Curve is, right, so we partnered up with them to do an integration of IOTA into their custody solution. And they obviously didn't tell us that they were in talks with PayPal to be bought. And the way that it usually works is if there's an M&A, right, merchant acquisition, the acquirer really looks at every deal, and they look at every type of partnership. And PayPal ultimately decided that Curve is no longer going to serve any outside customers and only is going to serve PayPal, right? And that's the whole purpose of the acquisition, to use their tech for PayPal. Now, we had some discussions with them, and I think right now PayPal is primarily focused on stablecoins. And we at IOTA, I've been talking about stablecoins for quite some time here on the show. And I think with IOTA smart contracts and with our native assets, my digital assets, we were a pretty appealing solution for stablecoins. And so what we're doing right now to be more appealing for PayPal integration as well is to put more emphasis on how stablecoins could look like in this IOTA ecosystem. But other than that, there's no progress on this situation. We are, however, talking with the biggest competitors to Curve to get listed. So that looks pretty promising right now. But we'll see over the coming weeks how it evolves with them. But again, our primary focus at the moment is really to make sure that IOTA gets listed and gets basic partners with all these custody solutions, because through that we really get access to the broader market. Dom said some time ago that we will see 1 or 2 big companies announcements that they're IOTA investors, but looks like nothing happened. So will we see some announcements, maybe some leaks? What are those companies involved in? What sector? First of all, no more leaks, no leaks, right? We don't pre-announce. We don't pre-announce here. Those companies are still in the pipeline, right? Right now, it would be absurd to announce these announcements simply because the timing is not right. And we are preparing all of these things right now. And once it's ready, it will obviously go out. So don't worry, don't worry. Just like one thing I also learned, right? The way that it works in our heads is that we have like this roadmap ahead of us, and there's exciting stuff happening at each step of the time. And like you can't talk about things that are too far into the future, because then the when question just becomes too pressing. And sometimes we just get overexcited about some of the stuff that we're working on. So we'll be more careful in that regard. But yeah, like it's all in the works, so don't worry. will be announced when it's due. What is your marketing plan? Oh my God, this is going to be a long one. People will not know about IOTA if no marketing is done. Same with big and real partners. Other cryptocurrencies have shitty tech and nothing new to show, but they're still more popular, and thanks to this, they get new partners. IOTA has powerful tech, but no one knows about it. I understand that you don't like to spend money on promotion because you think they will notice IOTA one day, but in my honest opinion, everything needs a promotion. Moreover, if it is not popular and has a bad reputation, okay? Many people still say that IOTA is a scam and dead coin. Really? I haven't heard that in a long time. I am not shocked. They just do not look at IOTA because IOTA is not attractive from the outside. Zero promotion, no exchange, it's just silence. From outside, it really looks like IOTA is dead. There is no progress. It is just too silent. You tell that you do not need promotion because there is the best tech and that's enough. What if there will be similar token to IOTA promotion, to IOTA with promotion? Why should people invest in IOTA if a new similar coin with much better promotion will have bigger chance to succeed? They will be able to find partners much easier with promotion. Thanks to it, they can adopt much faster than IOTA will do. All right, first let me drink something. All right, first of all, this is your subjective opinion. And I could kind of see that from a perspective compared to other projects, right? If you look at Cardano, you have Charles, who is basically a YouTube celebrity and does these shows every fucking day or something, and he does them really well, right? He really knows how to be a good narrator and how to put things into perspective. So he did well in that regard. And they also have like dozens of YouTubers speaking about Cardano for many reasons. And there's not that much talk about IOTA outside of our bubble. And this is also something that we are very aware of, because with the Chrysalis upgrade, it was really an exciting moment when it happened. And after that, it was back to the usual stressful focus, right? Focusing on the next big update instead of really talking about what just happened. And it's just right, you're part of the usual cycle in this market. But what I'm saying is that we are very well aware of the fact that we need to break out of our bubble. And the only way to break out of our bubble is to really make IOTA such an exciting piece of technology to utilize and to have this tangible adoption. Right now, what you can do with IOTA is you have feeless transactions, right? They confirm almost instantly within 10 seconds. And the feeling is absolutely amazing, but we have to make people aware of this fact. And what we achieved with Chrysalis is to really launch the biggest upgrade of our network ever. And to do it flawlessly, migrate billions of dollars. And now we have a very strong foundation. So if some newcomer learns about IOTA and they utilize IOTA for the first time, it's absolutely an amazing experience. So I think that in and of itself is already marketing enough. Right, in that regard, right? The tech really works, it functions, Firefly wallet is beautiful, and is easy to utilize. Now, when it comes to the promotion, I think what IOTA is clearly missing is staking, it's smart contracts, it's tokens, it's DeFi, it's yield farming. It's all of those things that normies that came into the space, right, beginners, find very exciting and find very appealing. And because IOTA doesn't have that, they just focus on different solutions. And we as a community kind of have to ask ourselves, should that be our focus to chase those trends, or do we want to reposition ourselves and have a different narrative that we focus on? And in my opinion, if we just aimlessly chase those trends, let's say we suddenly do IOTA staking or we suddenly say, hey, IOTA welcomes DeFi. I think it will have a detrimental effect on us, because IOTA right now has a very strong brand. Even though you don't think so, every time I speak with a big fund, every time I speak with another project, they have a lot of respect for IOTA, because we have achieved a lot. With nothing, we came to this stage that we are at right now. We have a huge community, and we have a really excellent team in the IOTA Foundation, excellent research, and really good tech. So I think with that, in and of itself, we're in a really strong position. And we should not dilute that message by just chasing those hypes that other projects are chasing, because it's a marginal game at the end of the day, because the only way that they're competing at this point is through higher staking rewards, through some variables that are changed in the ledger. IOTA is a completely different technology and a completely different ecosystem, and we are focusing on really being different in that regard. That is our position. That's why we are where we are right now, and we don't want to dilute that further. However, obviously, we have ambitions as well to offer these solutions because they are part of our narrative. So it's about shaping it as part of our vision, and then we need to introduce these technologies to achieve our vision, right? So with that being said, marketing, of course, we are thinking about how we are going to do that. Of course, we're thinking about or working on different approaches to get IOTA outside of our bubble. And of course, we will make that happen, because we have no intention of being in the top 40 or whatever, right? We have clear ambitions to be one of the top leading projects, and it also includes not just building the best tech, not just having the biggest ecosystem. It also means that people actually talk about you consistently, and that's really what we're focusing on. That's why I'm also so busy right now, because we're really focusing on this comms aspect of everything that we're doing. So don't worry, don't get too stuck into this mentality that we can't break out of our bubble, because I think breaking out of our bubble will be pretty straightforward, right? Because we have the right fundamentals, we have the right tech. It's all there. It's just that very few people know about IOTA right now, and we're very European centric, and that's why we have a strong focus on Asia and on the US right now. So it will happen. Don't worry. I think I say that quite often. Mm-hmm. Don't worry. It's kind of funny, because working in crypto for so long, you kind of have to become delusional. At one point, you have to consistently tell yourself, it will be fine, it will be fine, it will be fine. Because like in 2017, it was like crazy times for us. And so you just consistently tell yourself. And that's why I also say you sort of become either Zen in this crypto space if you're in it for so long, or you just completely lose yourself. So don't worry, that's the mentality. How many TPS, MPS, in your honest opinion, does IOTA have to handle for machines to machines purposes? I think, I don't think there's a clear cut. I don't think there is 10,000 TPS and we have a machine economy. I think this is something that will evolve gradually. And even if we had 10,000 TPS right now, it wouldn't be utilized because the adoption is not there, right? Big companies need time to actually build these solutions. So it will be like a gradual evolution, I would say, where IOTA is being integrated into a use case, and the use case uses up throughput in the network, and then the network starts to gradually increase the throughput. Obviously, we've always been saying that the ultimate vision is to have sharding, because only with that you really become ubiquitous, right? And right now with 1,000 TPS, we are very happy, but I think we will be able to achieve a lot more. In order to handle machine-to-machine transaction, there's no black and white. There's no clear answer to that. It's just about enabling the use cases that make the most sense and then evolving from there. Because the machine economy is not going to be built from today to tomorrow. It will take years for it to fully evolve and to fully function, and for all of these machines to start trading with each other. And it's like a rollout process. And with that rollout process, the transaction throughput obviously has to increase. How many IOTA tokens does IF currently have? Have IOTA Foundation ever traded with IOTA Foundation tokens? First of all, of course, we trade with IOTA Foundation tokens. We have a broker in Switzerland who does OTC trades and stuff like that. How many tokens the foundation currently has? I think it's 40 TI, which is about 80 to 90 million. at the moment. So we are in a very good position right now. And as I mentioned before, we have some clear strategies on how to no longer have to sell tokens. And that's just basically what we're working on right now. But financially, we're in a very strong position at the moment. Can you share some, at least small details related to Dan Zimmerman's Schillerman's exciting work? I mean, this one, which is going to be better than Coinbase, and thanks to whom we will not need exchanges. I mean, this message. Seriously, what we will share is better than Coinbase. Probably more impactful, honestly, if it happens. What is the chance that it will happen if it happens? Gives a lot of doubts and fortunately chills hope a little. First of all, we have to stop chasing the hopium dreams, because ultimately we have a very clear strategy. We are delivering, we're working on this 24/7, right? We don't do weekends, we don't do holidays. We're working constantly on IOTA. So I think that is the biggest hopium that you should have, that you have a team of 150 people who are dedicated to making IOTA a reality. 150 really smart people that really understand the market, who have been through the ups and downs of crypto and have a lot of experience really delivering this project. So that is really the biggest hopium in that regard. When it comes to what Dan meant, I think he was talking about some of the bigger, like some of these projects that we're currently working on behind the scenes. There's obviously a lot being worked on at the moment, as you can guess. We have the upcoming IOTA 2.0 network that is launching, aka Nectar. And we also have some other stuff that we are working on behind the scenes, but I obviously can't share that. And hopefully we'll make Coinbase happen as well. But other than that, there's a lot being worked on at the moment. So that is the biggest hopium for you. All right, that's a lot of questions. It's like 14 questions, and I'm already like 35 minutes in. Do you have information when Binance and other exchanges will resume deposits and withdrawals? Community looks already frustrated, and I don't know which is more frustrating: the fact that exchanges did not migrate tokens and didn't resume deposits withdrawals yet, or the fact that no one knows when it will happen. Do you have any information about that? Quite honestly, we are as frustrated as you guys. We've been working with them every day for the last 3-4 weeks to make this happen. And every exchange has a different developer environment, has a different kind of tooling that they need, and different requirements. And we were building customized solutions for pretty much all of them. And then things change all of a sudden and so on. So it is a very frustrating experience for us as well. And I think there's some good learning lessons for us, I would say, going out of this, how to coordinate this better. Obviously, this was a pretty difficult upgrade because it is going from Winternet signatures to EDDSA. But the integrations are pretty simple, but the migration is something that some of the exchanges are still working on. Bitfinex started opening up again, which is great. Bitpanda, I think, started accepting deposits. Binance, we gave them everything. We told them how to do the migration. I think the integration is done. But I think over the next few weeks, few days, don't take me wrong, the next few days, they will hopefully finalize this once and for all. We luckily have some Chinese speaking developers. So let's all we can do at the moment is wait and see. We at the IOTA Foundation have really tried everything, and we've given them a lot of development resources to make this as simple as possible, and the rest is up to them. So let's see. When do you think we will see Nectar? Soon. Seriously, I'm not gonna leak anything. Have you contacted Tesla, Elon Musk, to present IOTA and its use cases? 17th of May, Elon Musk was in Berlin. there were some rumors that maybe IF will contact Elon and meet up together. I guess nothing likely like that happened, but maybe you can confirm. Just curious. No, obviously not. Right? We did not meet with his team, and we also didn't meet with Tesla. And I don't know. Like I'm not even sure if something like that makes sense, honestly, because that whole Dogecoin thingy is kind of going too far at this point. So let's see. But we are open, right? We definitely want to work with everybody, and I think it would be great to work with Tesla and with Elon. So we're still working with other automotives, right? With their competitors, basically. And if Tesla is interested, we will obviously would love to work with them, because it's a amazing car. Even though I don't have a driver's license, I wonder what I only heard good things about Tesla cars so far. So I think that's good. Courtside 2021 or 2022. The objective is to do 2021. We are going to release the 2.0 DevNet soon, right, with Nectar. And with that, we can then also see what it's going to look like. I want to take a step back, right? And I think this is also something that we realize internally. Our objective here is not just to remove the coordinator. Our objective is to build the best possible DAG protocol, the best possible distributed ledger, the best possible layer one, that you can then build new protocols and new networks on top. And right, it's not just about removing the coordinator. Removing the coordinator gives you this protocol, right? The tangle, the fully decentralized tangle. And that's why we should also really launch the network with some optimizations and with some really sound protocol decisions, right? Together with those protocol upgrades. And that what I'm trying to say here is that Courtside is part of the objective. The major objective for us is to build the best DAG protocol. So that's why I also want to move a little bit away from the term Courtside and really start using IOTA 2.0 more, because IOTA 2.0 really makes it apparent that it's this upgrade, right? It's better than 1.0, it's better than 1.5, it's better than 1.9, or whatever is 2.0. And IOTA 2.0 should be this fully decentralized network. And with the launch of the incentivized testnet, we'll then be able to assess what the timeline will look like. But we're moving away from giving timelines because I think that just really sets false expectations. Yeah. So yeah, I hope those 14 questions were acceptable. Let's move over to the next 35 questions. 3 questions. What are your thoughts about market mostly ignoring Chrysalis upgrade? That's an interesting one. I was also trying to figure that out, because it's a huge achievement to do something like this. Because if you look at the Chrysalis page right now, let's look here, right? We built the software to basically migrate close to $2 billion right now. And I think that is like a huge achievement, that more than 20,000, like 21,000 addresses were fluidly migrated from the old legacy network to this new upgraded network. And using IOTA today is just really phenomenal. And it should give everybody newfound confidence in where we're heading, and the type of development and minds that are behind the IOTA project. So I think publicly, the community was obviously excited about it. I think also some of our partners were very excited, right? We also heard some really good statements from corporate partners. You also saw it on Twitter, where I think close to 15 partner companies of IOTA gave shared their excitement and their commitment to IOTA. So that's good. Other than that, I think it just didn't hit the market because we are not part of the current narrative. The current narrative is DeFi, is staking, is yield farming, is NFTs, digital assets, all of that. Like we're in a very different ecosystem right now. We built our own ecosystem, right? We should be proud of that. IOTA today is one of the largest communities, and everybody believes in this vision that we have of the machine economy, of IoT. So I think right now we're in a really good position in that regard, right? The Chrysalis upgrade was successful. I think everybody loves it, loves reusable addresses, loves Firefly, loves 10-second confirmations. And now it's about bridging towards these new ecosystems so that IOTA really starts being part of the narrative as well. But in our own way, right? We always need to find our own secret sauce. We don't just want to chase hypes and trends. It's just very important. I want to mention that. And what's very good about our current position that we're in is that we have the right fundamentals. We really are a project that's easy to be hyped about, I would say, right? It's really easy to be excited about IOTA because we are one of the OG projects. We've gone through a lot of iterations and a lot of development to be where we are today. And we have a pretty large ecosystem. So I think over the next couple of weeks, we will be able to break out of our bubble in that regard and get the broader market excited about IOTA. So that's been a key focus of ours right now. What happened to new exchanges and partnerships once Chrysalis is released? The usual stuff, which is that it takes time. Just because the Chrysalis upgrade happened doesn't mean that the following day immediately something is going to be announced that X, Y, and Z is building on IOTA. Because now that the upgrade is through, it takes a couple of weeks, months to do these upgrades, to do the integrations. So we're working quite closely with our corporate partners. So everybody is very excited about this new IOTA and how great it is to set up a node. Probably also saw it on Twitter. It costs you like €5 to run an IOTA node at the moment. And that's nothing. It's like 2 beers, right? And that really gets everybody excited to build on IOTA again. So it will take time, but we're working together with some pretty exciting companies. Why is IF still confident about Coresite being on the mainnet by end of year if we know that Poland testing lasted almost a year and Nectar should be even more challenging? First of all, Poland testing didn't last almost a year. I think the development really lasted a year because there was the usual research and engineering cycle where it was like this constant back and forth. And we were also sort of understaffed in the beginning because we also had resource constraints. But our current objective is to launch Nectar and then launch these sort of incentives. And with that, then figure out how Coresite can happen, how soon Coresite can happen on the mainnet. We don't want to give any more timelines. So we should just really be focused on what the next milestone should be, instead of trying to hypothesize or trying to think about what the full roadmap looks like. Because in this crypto space, it's almost impossible to predict the next year. Right? It's impossible to predict the next 6 months, basically, because things just evolve so quickly, and one thing can be a catalyst for a new thing. And as I said, our objective is to launch Nectar, and with Nectar, we can then see how the Coresite timeline will look like. But what's very important to reiterate here is that you can already start building on the Nectar network. The main reason why we're also doing this Nectar phase is so that applications can already build with this fully decentralized IOTA 2.0 vision or implementation in mind. So you can already do decentralized assets, right? Doing NFTs, smart contracts, and yeah. So it's a full-on development network where you can launch dApps on, basically. Why haven't you heard much about Dr. Popov lately? I think Popov is very active in the community, no? Like he's sometimes in the chess channels. But I think everybody's just very busy at the moment with the upgrade and with the launch of the network. So it's all everything is fine, right? So he's still around. All right. Hey, Dom, my first question. Do you think timing plays a huge role in the current market status? Or would you say we have time? I don't even know why people are so impatient when smart contracts and NFTs finally come. I think many people are just really so impatient because they feel like the market is going to crash at any moment and that we didn't really reach our all-time high again, or that we didn't achieve what was ultimately the objective, right? Going back into the top 10 and stuff like that. That's why I started the Zen meme, by the way. That's why on Twitter I have this background image, because I don't think that time is running out. I think our timing is actually quite perfect, and we have all of these big things coming up, where we are going to be part of this narrative of the market more. So I would just be patient and just try and think about where we're heading and what is going to be possible with IOTA, and just start building on top of it. But timing is definitely everything in business as well, not just in crypto. But right now we are very confident in our timing. And that's why I said before, right, this crash of the last few days actually also gave others much more confidence that this market will sustain. And, we are, every time there's a new cycle and there's newfound hype and confidence, people try to tell themselves this time is different. But this time we really have new business models that actually launch on crypto that generate revenues. We have institutional investors. And so the market is very exciting, and so we're confident in our timing, and I think it will all fall into place. Question number 2: now that some projects have already been massively adopted, what should encourage people to switch to IOTA when things like transaction fees are negotiable? Especially when we know that transaction fees and the associated rewards are often the reason why people get involved in a project in the first place. Exactly because of that, right, and the associated rewards, we are basically building a new ecosystem, and this new ecosystem will have new opportunities. Our objective is to enable these opportunities so that decentralized applications, so that builders, developers can seize them, can realize these opportunities and build on top of IOTA and build on top of these other things that we are launching, right? And try to compete with other ecosystems. So we have a pretty clear strategy in that regard. So we have a strong focus on tooling, making IOTA very easy to build on, and you can't compete with feeless. And like that's such a strong reason why IOTA makes so much sense. And when it comes to our strategy at the moment is also to build bridges to other ecosystems so that you can do cross-chain asset swaps. That's the project that we're doing with the Technical University in Vienna and with some others. So yeah, like I wouldn't be worried. Like this market is still so early. If you think about MetaMask, I think MetaMask has like 4 or 5 million users. That's nothing, right? 4 or 5 million users. And there's banking applications that have 100 million users. So we're still very, very early in this crypto space. We still didn't cross the chasm. We didn't reach mainstream. Just think about that, by the way. Things are only going to accelerate over the next few months. And we at IOTA, we're positioning ourselves there. So yeah. Question number 3: are now other crypto projects in relation to corporations in conversations with you? We know about Cardano and ETH, but what about others, and which ones would they be, and how exactly can we imagine working together? We're definitely open to working with every crypto project pretty much, except for the scams, the obvious scams. Our current focus is on EVM interoperability, so that one EVM can exchange assets with another EVM. But there's other ways that we can do it, right? Like build out the community projects that utilize both technologies and stuff like that. We'll see how it evolves, right? I think smart contracts will be an important puzzle piece here to basically enable this. Do you have any information about when the Chrysalis update on Binance is finished? I do not. We've given them everything, so let's see what happens. What is more likely, that institutions will rely on a decentralized platform like the IF in the future, or will use their own in-house solutions when the technology is not longer new? The way that it usually works is that companies, so far at least, thought that they have to do everything in-house. But in recent years, they've become more accustomed to partnering with others and to utilize their tech, basically, and to adopt it, right? I think especially with blockchain and distributed ledgers, all these companies realize that this is way too complicated for them, and they shouldn't build their own blockchain. I think that's nonsense. You don't need the new flavors of it. And our goal with IOTA is to make the permissionless ledger production ready, make it easy to build on, make it attractive for others to utilize, so that companies will utilize the main IOTA ledger. So I'm very confident that companies realize that being part of the open ecosystem is much more favorable than building up their own ecosystem, because it's too expensive, it's hard to maintain, it's a lot more insecure. Last question, is the euro still being talked about on the Tangle? We are still looking into that, yes. All right. Hi, Dominik. I'm currently doing a PhD in law at my university. I got the chance to learn about IOTA by reading a couple of books during my studies. That's cool. Very cool. I have some questions for you. What would be needed for IOTA to become a standard for data verification and fraud prevention? Real utility, I would say, right? It being adopted in the real world. But this is something that we're doing with Project Alvarium. And there you can do data verification, and like fraud prevention is basically just a use case of data verification. So this is definitely something that we're working on. All other cryptos can send data transactions. No, they can't. Is IOTA the only crypto that can do this while remaining feeless? Yes, IOTA is the only one that can do feeless transactions, and the only one that can really do data transactions, which is why it's perfect for oracles. A few days ago, I read that you can put up to 32 kilobytes of data in a single transactions. If many nodes in the network start transferring data, will the validators on the network be forced to buy new hard drives all the time to hold all this information? We realized this problem since the very early days of IOTA, and that's why we implemented snapshotting. So a full node can basically discard part of the database, their local database. So they don't have to store the entire history, right? Because that just doesn't scale and it's not fit for IoT. So no, they don't have to store all of the information. They only need to store the latest state, which is what the snapshot basically is. Does the IF have any plans for further expansion into the university field? Yes, absolutely. We definitely want to do more on the education front, right? Partner more with the universities to do research together, but also really partner more to do education programs and stuff like that. So if you have some ideas, always feel free to reach out to us. Can you know the size of your legal team and what they do within the IF? In case I need to contact someone for specific clarifications on data protection compliance, who should I ask? We have, I think, 3 people in our legal department. They do anything from trademarks to GDPR compliance, to reviewing NDAs, contracts, setting up new entities and jurisdictions, working with other law firms, right? We're a global organization, so there's a lot of complicated legal stuff to work on because crypto is new, right? There's oftentimes no precedents from what we're working on. So we work a lot with partner law firms, basically. If you want to work on data protection, we have a data protection officer. So just feel free to reach out to me and I can forward the request at any time. Personally, I can tell you that I will be watching with great interest the development of the Alvarium project and the Legal Tech Innovation Conference held on May 13th. That's cool. This is like a hidden advertisement. That's actually pretty smart, by the way. If you were to advertise your company, you just put it in here or your conference. No, but it's really great to hear. I think Project Alvarium is perfect for what you're looking for. So definitely. Hey Dom, thanks for being so open with the community and answering these questions. Mine is, what are the milestones that will trigger more marketing strategies being invested in by the foundation? That's pretty interesting that everybody, like all of these questions circle around the same topics. That's interesting. I totally understand not marketing until a finished product is rolled out. Just curious about your thoughts on how IF will know it's the right time and start telling the world. Now is the right time, right? Upgrade is through. Let's get the message out. So I think also it's kind of an what is the right word? Kind of a reach out to the community to also start being part of this, right? It doesn't just need to be the IOTA Foundation that does these initiatives. We would really appreciate the involvement of the community, right? We have the community treasury that's being set up so we can do some initiatives through that. But already before that, we can prepare blog posts, materials, comparison charts, infographics that really show the beauty of IOTA and why it's one of the best projects in this space. And because we at the foundation, we should not do everything, right? We cannot do everything because we're running at maximum capacity right now. There's just so much to do. So we would love to get the community also involved in some of these initiatives to spread the awareness for the project. But just so you know, right, we obviously have some projects that we're doing right now to tackle specifically this marketing thing. But just to say this once again, right, it's about being part of the current narrative, because IOTA is its own ecosystem at the moment, is its own narrative. And we've done a really good job in building that up, and we have done a really good job in building up the technology. And now it's about crossing the bridge and being part of the narrative again. Yeah. Let's do 2 more questions. How sure is Coreside in 2021? Heard now from some IOTA community devs that it will more likely happen in late Q1 or early Q2 2022. Again, we don't know the exact timeline. I think it will really depend on the Nectar phase and the outcomes of the incentivized testnet. But nonetheless, we will obviously communicate all of that as it happens. I recently watched your interview with Dave Lee on investing and really enjoyed it. Thank you. You mentioned that you will try to spread awareness through interviews such as this. I was wondering, are there any other interviews with other YouTube channels that are in the pipeline? If not, I recommend getting in contact with DataDash. He has a really sizable and knowledgeable audience that might be interested in such a revolutionary project like IOTA. I think there's one more that we have on the books right now. We are reaching out to others as well. We'll definitely scale that up more to do interviews, to do podcasts. So thank you for the recommendation. So we'll reach out to them. Let me do one more question here. Hey, Dominik. I'm in IOTA since 2017 and a big fan of technology. My simple question, when will IOTA use its full potential for the machine economy? I think that will really be when IOTA is being utilized within vehicles, right? And I think the definition of an economy is really there's multiple actors that are transacting with each other, that are able to transact with each other. And once we achieve that, then it's really the start of the machine economy. I'm not sure what full potential means here. Like, obviously, full potential could mean that, yeah, hey, we have entire cities that run on IOTA. I think that the definition that we should run with is that the economy that is built on top of IOTA is more valuable than the protocol than the technology itself, right? So today, the IOTA protocol has a valuation of 5 or 6 billion. So the economy on top of IOTA should be more valuable than $6 billion. I think at that point, we can say that we've really achieved something really valuable. And that's, at least that's the definition that I run by, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think we should do. But I think that's a good definition for us, because it's tangible and it's something that we can actually measure, right? And yeah, so I think that's when we really reach this potential of IOTA. And I really think the growth of IOTA will be exponential in that regard. Right now, we're still building the protocol, making sure that it's ready, building smart contracts and increasing the utility of IOTA, but the adoption of the protocol will absolutely be exponential then. And why is it so hard to build an IOTA identity-based parking machine and a sensor that simulates a car to test the parking station of tomorrow? I'm not sure if it's so hard. I think it's pretty straightforward, no? So I can really recommend you to reach out to our developers on Discord and to look on GitHub, because I can't show GitHub. Because the repository is public and you can already now start building IOTA identity. IOTA identity is really one of the holy grails. So we'll start focusing more on identity, on decentralized identity for machines, but also for humans. And it will be really great to see all of you to also start building on top of it. And yeah, our developers are always on Discord, so feel free to reach out to them. And why don't you demonstrate these small use cases yourself instead of wait for companies to do it? And that's actually what we're doing. We did it with the Self app. If you remember Self, let me open it up. Oh, wait. So we did it with this app, with the Self app, where you could register your own identity. And it's also tailored towards immunity certification. And it's pretty exciting, I would say. We just don't have the capacity. And at the end of the day, the purpose of the IOTA Foundation is to build the base protocol and to build the frameworks on top. And we want to empower all of you, the IOTA community, to start building on top of it, utilizing our tool. And we already have like an NFT marketplace that's being built, token foundries, and all of that. And I think slowly but surely this tangible adoption will really come into the community. So I think that's really what we're aiming for. And we can support you guys with development support, but also with the ecosystem development grant. So yeah. So that sounds good. I think we had a very good session. So thank you everybody for your questions. It's pretty damn hot in here now. Just so you know, the way that it's going to work is that right now we have the big focus on, first of all, launching the decentralized IOTA network, right? There's IOTA 2.0, where you can also build some very new use cases on top. But we're also working on some other projects at the moment. So the next show we will do in early June. Next few weeks is focus, focus, focus. As we like to say at IOTA, everything is a priority, which means there is a lot of work to do. But this space just evolves so rapidly, right? It's absolutely insane how fast the crypto space moves. And that's what makes it so exciting, because there's just so many things happening at once. And it's a very challenging environment to operate in. But exactly these challenges make it so exciting. And without these challenges, I think many of us wouldn't really be part of it. And we are building the future. We crypto, blockchain, distributed ledgers is here to stay. We've proven that they solve problems. Now it's just about building the right tech and scaling it out. And our hypothesis and our argument is that IOTA is the best base layer out there. That's what we're doing. That's what we want to achieve with IOTA 2.0. And on top of that, we're going to launch all of these new economies, machine economy, smart contracts, and this data economy and all of that. So it's very exciting to see how it will all unfold over the next few weeks with these new product releases. So with that said, I hope that all of you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you have questions, always feel free to reach out to us on Discord, on Twitter. We are very friendly people. We always answer questions, and especially criticism, or if you have some input, some advice to us, always just feel free to reach out. And we'll also start doing more community events. I think that will be pretty interesting, right? Doing more meetups and stuff like that. But without further ado, I hope all of you have a good rest of your Tuesday, and see you guys in June then. Bye-bye.